What Nikola Jokic has been doing this season is simply insane. He's been so good that he's actually been putting his previous MVP season's numbers to shame, and given how good that he was during those seasons, something like that shouldn't even be possible. Nikola Jokic is averaging 32.3 points, 13.5 rebounds, 10.2 assists, 1.8 steals, and 0.7 blocks. That seems like something that you should only be able to do in a video game. But yet, here Nikola Jokic is doing it against the best players in the entire world. As crazy as these numbers are, Jokic couldn't care less about them. When it comes to basketball, all this man cares about is him and his coworkers doing their job at the highest level possible. In other words, he wants to win, and he wants to win badly.
Nikola Ronendorf in Israel today. Sharonas Marshalinis in his Hall of Fame speech said how difficult it was for him coming to America today, discussing stats all the time, and everything is stats, stats, stats. Do you feel the same way? Because in our culture, it's a little bit different over here.
No, I don't feel the same because I only talk about people telling me my stats, and I'm trying to say it's a team basketball. So, I mean, yes, I feel the same way, my friend. I mean, I think it's how everything works. You know, in Europe is a little bit maybe the team, the winning. Maybe here here is this winning too, but maybe more stats. I don't know. I really don't know. Good question, Mike.
It's incredibly refreshing that a player that is as good as Jokic isn't worried about inflating their numbers and instead about wins. Funnily enough, this actually makes his stats that much more impressive. At times, just like Jokic does, I do think that our obsession with stats can go way too far. But when the traditional stats and the advanced stats match up with the production, I do think that it's important to give a player like Jokic their flowers. At this moment in time, Jokic is undeniable. He's not just one of the best players in today's game, he's quickly closed in on being one of the best players to touch a basketball. In today's NBA, Jokic is the ultimate one-man engine. This man literally does it all offensively. With the ball in his hands, he's impossible to stop. He's a force on the block that has an arsenal of moves to go along with his beautifully soft touch. He's also a great shooter who is hitting 50.6% of their threes this season, and good luck attempting to deter any of those shot attempts. His incredibly high and unorthodox release point makes it so that when Jokic shoots, you're not bothering his shot, meaning that when your favorite team is on defense, they're basically at his mercy. You can double Jokic in an attempt to stop the madness, but the joke would be on you, because he's one of the best passers that the league has seen. And truth be told, he'd rather kill you with passing than scoring, which Nikola Jokic's passing can make even some of the worst players in the NBA a threat. In fact, I've seen him do it. But what do you expect when this man passes at such a high level that he is able to pinpoint exactly where his teammates are, even without seeing them? Like I said, Jokic is the game's ultimate engine. With him on the floor, the Nuggets have an offensive rating of 123.9. This offensive rating is better than any other teams in the league. But with him off of the floor, the team's offensive rating is just 94.9. An offensive rating of 94.9 would give the Denver Nuggets a way worse offensive rating than any other team in the league. For reference, the Wizards currently have the worst offensive rating in the league, and their offensive rating is 104. With Jokic off of the floor, the Nuggets is just 94.9. Let that marinate for a little. A few games ago, that abysmal Wizards offense that I just referenced would actually play a part in taking down Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets on a night where Nikola Jokic had 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 8 assists. To make matters worse, the Wizards had lost 16 straight games before beating this Nikola Jokic-led Denver Nuggets team. Regardless of how bad that any team is that you're playing against, if you let any player hit 9 threes on you, then there's a decent chance that you might just lose that game. Against the Denver Nuggets, Jordan Poole would be out there looking like a hybrid Stephen Curry, hitting a career-high 9 threes, en route to dropping 39 points. It was all bad for the Nuggets. I know that 122 to 113 isn't exactly a blowout, but when you have a talent like Nikola Jokic, you're supposed to be among the best teams in the league, not dropping games to a team with no identity who had just lost 16 straight games. After this game, Nikola Jokic would be livid, saying that a reaction in my country, where I'm coming from after this kind of stretch, you're going to get a paycheck that is a little bit less than what you are worth. So maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe a little motivation that way. This might not sound like much to some people, but Jokic saying something like this is basically like him crashing out. In other words, he simply had enough of the mediocrity. This season has made Jokic the most frustrated that I've seen him in a long time, and who can blame the guy? Nikola Jokic is top 2 in minutes per game, which is going to be incredibly tiring even for somebody who is as athletic as Jokic. Jokic is constantly asked to do everything for this Nuggets squad. While we're here, how many centers do you guys know who have been top 2 in minutes per game who have had to carry the load that Jokic has? The Nuggets have enjoyed a breakout campaign from Christian Brown. Michael Porter Jr. has been playing at close to an all-star level. And at 36 years old, Russell Westbrook of all players has been one of the major reasons that this team hasn't fallen apart. But still, because of a lack of talent, the Nuggets just haven't been good enough. And this talent problem is something that I outlined well before the season even started. This talent problem is something that stems from a flurry of questionable decisions. Booth has advertised in the past that he wants to build from within, saying that I just want dudes that we try to develop and it's sustainable. If it costs us the chance to win a championship this year, so be it. It's worth the investment. If everything is optimized, then we should win 3 or 4 titles. When people start to talk about winning all of these titles, to me, it starts to sound like they're selling hope. It's safe to say that everything hasn't been optimized in Denver, and now building from within is something that they sort of have to do because of them mismanaging so many assets over time. Which, to be fair, is not all the fault of Calvin Booth, but still, he has left some meat on the bone. This team doesn't have an abundance of picks to trade like San Antonio, Utah, or the Thunder, thanks to them burning through them. This team could also still use talent like KCP and J Huff and had no reason to extend some of the players that it did. Fun fact: Jokic has never played with an all-star teammate, yet there are players on his team being paid like one, which is a disaster. Especially with this new CBA, which significantly restricts high-spending teams with harsh penalties. How many superstars do you know that have never played with another all-star? I was against the Nuggets giving an out-of-form Jamal Murray the max when they could have just let him prove himself this season and then proceed to make a decision on him this offseason. Now, if Jamal doesn't regain his form with the contract that he has, then the Nuggets finding a solution to their problems becomes that much more unlikely. We'll actually go into more depth about how much that Jamal Murray has struggled and how good that Russell Westbrook has been for Nikola Jokic and this team soon. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you guys don't miss that, or any of my other content for that matter. Guys, with what's been going down in Denver and with how frustrated that Jokic has been becoming, do you think that we'll see Denver defy the odds and make moves that enhance this roster? Or do you think that Calvin Booth's build from within slogan will be what this team sticks to as they try to figure everything out? I have to say that while the Nuggets don't have the most ideal situation around Jokic roster-wise, if what they're dealing with right now is the price that they had to pay to win a ring, then where do I sign my New Orleans Pelicans up? Anyways guys, there's some more going on in the basketball world that I need to be covering. Clicking the video on the screen right now and using code COOP for Underdog are both great ways to support this channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.